Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Let's Get Better, and today we are on episode 12, and this is an episode that will be in range of episodes that will be about human anatomy. And today we will talk and draw some arms, the bones, the muscles, how they move, and what to think about when you're drawing them. And of course a good way to practice them. So yeah, let's just get started right away. Let's start with the bone structure of the arm and how that kind of works and what bones there are and how you draw them, how they look like. And I'll be drawing them for you because otherwise what's the point, right? Okay, so let's start with the upper arm. Of course there's a nice bone in there. It's thick. That has to carry all your huge biceps around. There's a good way of knowing if your arm is too long or too small when you're drawing it in a body. Did you know that, like, if this was a body and was standing up, then your elbow is around where your belly button is? Maybe a little lower right now because I haven't actually drawn the elbow. Somewhere here, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, if you were just standing and you were leaving your arms hanging next to your side, then it's normally around the same as your belly button. So you can try it out. Just stand up and see for yourself. You know, it's that's like a good guideline to remember if you're drawing arms and you're not entirely sure if they are the right size or not. I don't know. Ah, right. Okay, I lost my crosshair for a second there. There we go. Okay, so yeah, we got the upper arm going. I think it's called the humerus, and if you break it, it hurts like hell. So don't do that. And we go down into the radius, which is, I think, the upper. It's the one that goes from the outside of your arm towards the inside of your arm, or on your wrist at least. I'm drawing your hand open right now. Hang on. Yeah, something like this. And then there's, of course, there's a little gap in between of them, because the other one is the ulna. I think it's called the ulna. And then you have some bones over here that make up your hand. I gotta redo the ulna for a second. There we go. Yeah, there's a bunch of little bones. I have no idea. I think it's called the carpus or something. I think it's what makes up your hand. And then of course you have your thumb. I'm not gonna be drawing all the bones here, but you sort of like know what's going on, right? I mean, this is like the hand part still, right? And then your fingers are just over there. All right. Okay. So what's going on here at the top is this, like, this is the how's this thing called? Scapula, maybe. It's like the little bone that holds it in place. It's like part of the shoulder blade, which is like beneath, or like behind this part over here. And yeah, and then this is where the clavicle, I think clavicle is, right? That's going up towards the middle. And this is of course also where your rib cage is. But yeah, we're just handling arms right now. So this is like what's happening underneath, right? This is like your arm opened up, and it's just in a resting position, of course. And this is like the anatomy that's underneath your arm. But of course, when drawing, you need to know mostly about the muscles, but it's always good to know the structure behind it and where things attach, so you can sort of like understand what you're drawing. Because I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, I guess, for those of you that didn't know. But drawing and painting is mostly just knowing stuff, right? I mean, there's a part of it that is, of course, like muscle memory and like you training yourself to see things in certain ways, but a lot of it is just knowing how things work, knowing how what goes where and how it moves. And you know, it's just knowledge to really portray something in the right way. Right, okay, so let's continue on, and I'm going to show you what muscles go where. I need a little bit of reference on this. I used to know this when I was really into it and really studying anatomy a lot, but to be honest, I haven't really done a whole lot of it. So let me just yeah, okay, I think I got something. All right. The first thing you need to know, of course, is that all these muscles have like the most exotic names ever, right? Which I have no idea. I don't know all of them. I'm going to duplicate it and yeah, let's say it's over there. All right, okay. I'm gonna be drawing the muscles over it, or at least I'm going to try. Is this, yeah, okay, yeah. And even though it's like fun to know all the names of the muscles, I'm not sure if it's really necessary. But the first thing that I'm drawing right now is the delt. No, what's it called again? Wasn't it the deltoid? I think it was the deltoid. It's like the shoulder shoulder muscle. Like if I'm naming them wrong, then please feel free to correct me, because I am not great at this. Okay, so but they sort of like attach to the bone, and beneath the deltoid comes out the bicep. Yeah, pretty sure is what's it called, the bicep. And that attaches somewhere here, and it goes up. And then there's this like this little bone, like little muscle. That's your yeah, your breast muscle, I guess, or your boob muscle. I have no idea how to call it. I'm so sorry. And then you have your tricep that's over here, and it's coming down as well. And then you have these points of your elbow, which is where like a forearm muscle begins. Also, I should have looked up the names, but this one goes sort of like in the same direction as your bone, so it goes and it ends up from the outside, goes all the way into the inside. And he has like a little sister or a brother that does pretty much the same thing, that also goes that way. And then there's the bone on the elbow that's sticking out in the middle over here. And yeah, I think there's some muscles over there as well, but I'm not sure how to call them. And then there's of course the lower arm muscle. You can see that when you flex your arm like this, and you, instead of your hand going like that, you put your hand like this, then this muscle comes out. that's this one. So yeah, and then I think we already sort of have it. Yeah, I think this is, not sure if it's anatomically correct exactly, but at least gets you the idea of what kind of muscles are going on in the arm. And I've drawn them in a way where the hand is different. Hang on, this is not entirely correct. I've drawn them in a way that it's like this. The hand is more like inwards instead of outwards. I mean, if the, like, I'm now drawn like the top of it. If I was drawing the hand the other way around, then the muscles should have been different. So, but this is like a good way to show them all to you. All right. Yeah, I think this works all right. Oh, oops! What did I do? Delete it? No. Let's duplicate it. There we go. There you get some arms. All right. Let's move them over to the side, size them down a bit. Okay. What's up next? Okay, so what's up next is how arms move. And well, of course, like one way to do it is to just get a mirror and just study your other arm. I've done this in the past, like a lot, where I just sit in front of it with a sketchbook and just move the other arm around and try to see if I can see my muscles moving and how that actually changes the silhouette of the arm. And that was really helpful. So that's definitely a tip that you can use, and to sort of like understand and study how they move, and also how you can make them up yourself, is to of course simplify the arm, right? So you don't always have to get all the muscles in, and etc, etc. You can also just like simplify the arm and try to make it work like that. For example, the arm is of course just a bunch of boxes if you simplify it all the way down. You know, maybe just like a sphere and then another box, but then a box that is sort of like smaller at one end, and then maybe here is a bigger box because that's like the deltoid or something, right? You can use it like that, but also a way, I think a good artist that shows you how to do this like really well is George Bridgman. His name is Bridgman without the E, right? He's like a guy who did some, he's awesome, but he's done some cool anatomy books, just like Andrew Loomis, that well, I think it could really help people that begin out, because he has a way of simplifying things, forms, in a way that I don't think I've seen in a lot of other people and a lot of other drawing books. So if you have the money, I think you can buy the books, and I think they're also downloadable online, so that's definitely something you can look into. Yeah, but of course, like I said, a good way to practice the arms in motion is to just study your own arm, and yeah, like I say in a lot of these videos, try and just do these studies with a pencil, because I don't know, it feels like I think that's when I learned the most. Like, sketching digitally is fun and all, and doing it like what I'm doing right now, I mean, it works, but it's not great, you know. It really isn't. I think it's much better to just do it with a pencil and just sit in front of a mirror, and because then you're just much more focused, you know. In your sketchbook, there's not an you're not one click away from looking at Facebook or a different YouTube video, if you know what I mean. It's just, if you're just alone in your room and your computer's turned off, or maybe there's some music on, and you're sitting in front of your mirror with a sketchbook, you know, that's when you're actually learning. You're having fun because you're looking at it and you're drawing it and you're trying to understand what you see. That's like when you're, yeah, that's like I said, that's when you're really learning, instead of just sitting behind the computer looking at a screen, drawing from a picture or whatever, or maybe also from a mirror, but you're always just like one click away from being on DeviantArt or on ArtStation or on Facebook or Twitter, or your email rings and stuff like that. So when you're doing these studies, especially anatomy studies, and you're doing them from life, just get away from the computer, sit in front of a mirror and just draw yourself. It's a really relaxing, and I think a great way to exercise your drawing skills. So if I could give you homework, that will be it. All right. Okay, so a lot of people also always like struggle with getting the form right when they are sort of like foreshortening an arm, and of course that is very hard. But something that you have to understand is the form of the arm, and how that sort of like works. Of course, you need to understand the bone structure, right? So like underneath here, here's the elbow, and here's the ursa. Yeah, I think that was what's it called. And of course the humerus is going up that way, and then you have the deltoid that's laying on top of here, and you have the tricep, and of course the bicep, but the bicep is just folded away here in the middle, and then I think they has to be a bit bigger. And then there is this part is like right here right now. So, and then you got a foreshortened arm, and it's a matter of understanding what you're doing. And again, this is so much better to understand when you are actually holding up your arm like this in the mirror, in front of the mirror, and then you're drawing it, because then you can see how all the other muscles are working together to do this. So and how your hand is holding up and stuff like that. It's really educational to just draw yourself and use yourself as an anatomy doll, I guess. And a good way to do is, like, if you have simplified it, it's a good way to just get the motion, I guess, or the movement is down here. Well, in this case, this would be the shoulder, right? And here is the hand. Then just imagine that there is a certain like a shape to it, right? Like right here, there would be the bicep that is here, and the tricep is here. So it wouldn't really be a shape like a circle, but it would be more like two circles smashed together or something. So, and then of course here it's going like this as well. This is also like a direction. So for this part it's the other way around, but it's also like almost the same shape as the tricep and the bicep, but here the upper one is a little thinner compared to the lower one. And you see what I'm doing, right? This is this muscle that's laying on top of here, and then it's joined with the other ones. See? This is sort of like the same shape, and this shape changes when it goes towards the wrist, and it's actually bigger up here, but I haven't really done that. But if you gotta try and do this and sort of like start to feel the form that you are actually drawing. If you manage to do that, then you will start to almost are able to like envision it in your mind, in your head, of how this should actually look. And as you can see, it's just a matter of connecting the shapes right now to just be able to get this arm working as it should. And now I kind of have the same thing going, but now I didn't and when I was drawing it the first time, I sort of already knew what I was going to do, because I could. And this is still a bit wobbly, to be honest, but this is like an approach that you can take in foreshortening arms. It's like, get the direction down, right? And then just remember or try to imagine the shapes that are happening in the form of the arm. So you can easily yeah, change the or actually so like easily understand what is happening with all the rest of the stuff. See, it's not that hard. No, I mean, of course it takes a lot of practice. I mean, don't be discouraged if it's not working right away. It's definitely something I struggled with and still struggle with from time to time. And I'm always like jealous when I see these like comic artists, like Marvel guys or whatever, and just draw so well, just all these muscles and forms and just foreshortening everything. It blows my mind, honestly. It's so amazing. Okay, so now we're going to move over to the last part of this video already, and it's going to be about how you can practice all of this in a very simple way. And of course, it's drawing it from life, right? Use a mirror. Use a mirror to look at yourself, and preferably do this in a sketchbook. There's of course the photo references that you can take, photographs, and a fun way to do this is to take a picture. Let me just see if I can quickly pull up an arm image. Well, for example, I got one right here. This is a cool picture, yeah. And a cool way to do this, or a good way to practice stuff, is also to just like remember, or try to remember the anatomy, and then just see if you can make it up. See if you can understand what's going on here, you know. See if you can understand all the muscles that are happening in this movement, and what way they are going, and where they are attaching, or what's exactly happening with the arm when it's moving this way. And I reckon you should probably take a little bit more time than I am doing it right now, but this sort of gives you the idea, an understanding of what kind of muscles are working together to produce certain movements, and strangely enough, if you do this well, if you do this enough and you start to really understand it, you will see that the way you are drawing your arms is also going to change, because you have a better understanding of what's going on in certain movements, and you will see that it just takes on a much more adult look, or more like of an understanding look. So this is a good way to change or to study certain poses. And of course a good way is to just like take this and draw it yourself. Yeah, but take a bit more time and maybe grab reference of an anatomy picture where it's actually saying what muscles are where, so you can actually make a more informed guess of what's going where and why, etc. All right. And of course there's the anatomy books. That is I think Bridgman is really good, because he has a sort of I think an almost unique style in also like squaring things and really simplifying arms in ways that if you draw them like that, you start to like understand the form that you are drawing. And if you understand that, then you just grow as an artist in a whole, you know, because you start to like it's hard to explain. It's the same as when you're starting to get negative space, you know, when you start to see the shapes, you start to sort of like learn to distinguish things easily from another and see things in relationship to another, and also like just as that shape instead of that space between the chairs or something. If this is also very abstract, but if you haven't seen the video, go back and check out the negative space video we did, I think at lesson 1. Then you know what I'm talking about. It's like the way you're training your eyes to see certain shapes, and that's very, very useful in trying to become a better artist. Even though it maybe doesn't seem like all these lessons, all these Let's Get Better lessons, almost all of them are just fundamentals. They're just like the tools that you need to grab and take advantage of in order to get a better artist. Of course there is Loomis, Andrew Loomis. He did some awesome books. These are for download, I think. They're just PDFs. The books are from 1960 or something, and I think the guy unfortunately already passed away, and I think his books are for free. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that you can find these online. Same as with Bridgman, but you might have to look a little bit harder because he was not as famous among new artists nowadays. Yeah, so I think this is like a good way to start. I'm very curious to see if you guys are actually picking up these kind of exercises. Would be really cool to get a link or get a message from you guys and saying, hey dude, I've been practicing these arms, please take a look, because I would be gladly to just give you some feedback or maybe help you out with something. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching. If you have any requests or comments or critiques, I would love to hear them. I'm also still learning, so don't be shy, you know. Thank you for watching. I hope this was useful, and hopefully I'll see you next week again. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much, and see you around.